Ecom owners, if you pay inventory deposits up front to your suppliers and then you enter those bills into QuickBooks Online, there's a good chance that you're actually doing it wrong and left with random outstanding bills that you're sure you paid. In this video, I'll walk you through exactly how to record vendor deposits and prepayments that you make to vendors inside of QuickBooks Online the right way so that your cash and accounts payable actually make sense. I work with Shopify and Amazon brands under 10 mil, and this is one of the most common screw-ups that I actually fix. So here's what you need to know. Anytime you make a vendor prepayment or deposit, it's not an expense on your profit and loss. It should show up on your balance sheet as an asset instead until you actually pay off that bill. If you just enter that deposit as an expense and then separately enter a bill into QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks is going to think that you're dealing with two different inventory transactions. Your profit is going to look worse than what it really is, and your accounts payable is going to be overstated as well. So let me share my screen and I'll show you exactly what you need to do inside of QuickBooks Online.
Okay guys, so I'm in QuickBooks Online right now. We got Craig's Design and Landscaping Company. This is just a sample company inside of QuickBooks Online. So once you pull up the bank transactions, the bank feeds right here, we're going to scroll down and see a couple of transactions with a rental. So just for this example, let's say that this first transaction on 10/30/2025 for $800 was a vendor prepayment. So just for this example, once again, we're going to say that the entire bill, our entire inventory purchase was for $2,000, and we made a 40% prepayment upfront. So that's $800, 40% of $2,000. So what we're going to do right here is, number one, categorize this as a vendor deposit like I talked about. So we're going to select A1 Rental as the vendor, since that's obviously who we paid, as you can see by the bank detail right here. And then for the account, we're actually going to create a new account as well. If you don't already have this, this is how you would do it. So just click on this box right here for account, scroll all the way up, and then we're going to press add new account right there. So for this, we can just call it vendor deposit, prepayment, anything like that. For the account type, we're going to call this other current, not liabilities, let's call it other current assets, since we're planning on using this vendor deposit and paying off that bill within the next year. So that's kind of the definition for current versus long-term asset. Will it be converted or used up within the next year? So let's say in this case, yes, it is. And our detail type will also be other current asset. And then let me just move my face and we can save on the bottom right there. So vendor deposit to A1 Rental for $800. Very important. Let's just say we have PO 1423, whatever it actually is for you in real life. We could just make a note right there. And I will talk about this in a little bit, but especially when you're dealing with lots of prepayments and bills, these memos, little descriptions do make a big impact when you're trying to track all of your payments as well. So once we have A1 Rental vendor deposit as the account, and then PO little memo right there, we can add that transaction. So now I just want to show you how that impacts our financials, because if we head on over to the balance sheet and then let's refresh this report, we're going to see that our vendor deposit shows up under other current assets for $800, which is exactly what we wanted right here. Now let's say we actually get the goods depending on your shipping terms, whether it's FOB shipping point or destination. If you're not familiar, what that means is FOB shipping point is basically inventory is transferred, the ownership of that inventory is transferred as soon as it's shipped. So let's say it's shipped on, today's the November 22nd. If it's shipped November 22nd, even if we get it on November 27th, it's our inventory under FOB shipping point. And then pretty similarly under FOB destination, we only claim rights to that inventory once we actually receive it. So if we receive it on the 27th, then technically it'll be our inventory legally. So if we ever file a claim, if the inventory gets lost along the way, it's not ours until it arrives under FOB destination. So it would be under the responsibility of the supplier to cover the cost of that inventory. And then we would also recognize it on our books once we receive it under FOB destination. So that's the main difference between the two, and various vendors have different shipping terms as well. So keep that in mind when you're actually paying off these bills and entering them into QuickBooks Online. So now let's say it's FOB shipping point. So as soon as that vendor ships out the product, it's under our legal control. So we're going to enter a bill as of the day that that inventory was shipped out by the vendor, and we'll just enter it how we regularly would. So let's say that inventory was shipped out on November 10th, for example. We have 30 days to pay that off. And then we would just enter this bill almost exactly how we get it from the vendor as well. We want to duplicate that bill that they send us over and make sure it matches up exactly with what we have inside of QuickBooks Online. So just for simplicity, I'm sure when you're buying your inventory, you have a bunch of different SKUs that you're purchasing. But let's just say in this case, we're buying $200. We're just buying one inventory item, 200 of this fountain pump for $10 a pop, giving us a total amount of $2,000. So this looks like it might be right. Obviously, in your inventory purchases, you're going to have more SKUs. So we can save this here. But what we have to keep in mind is that, yes, this total bill is $2,000, but we already made that $800 prepayment for that bill, as you recall, in the bank feed. So our total payment is going to be $2,000 minus $800, giving us $1,200. So our remaining balance would technically be $1,200 on that bill. But the thing is, this bill still shows up as $2,000. So we have to find a way to reduce this balance from $2,000 all the way down to $1,200. And there's one easy way to do that. So all you have to do is come over to this category section, vendor deposit, select that. And what we're going to do is enter the amount as a negative. So negative $800 right here. And what that's going to do is, if we open this back up and scroll down to the total, it's going to reduce the outstanding balance of the bill by that $800 that we already prepaid, which is exactly what we want. So also, don't forget, in the description, PO 1423. I think that's what that number was. Let's hope it's right. 40% prepayment applied. And then what you can do as well is enter a quick note saying the exact day that it was actually paid. So if I remember correctly, it was 10/30/2025. So what that's going to do is have the correct vendor terms, bill date, and so on with all the products that we're buying. Once again, like I mentioned, you're probably going to have multiple SKUs and different products that you're buying. Just for simplicity, in this case, I'm going to leave it at the fountain pipe, but you would just enter all your other products right here as well. And then the important part is we do this vendor deposit entry right here for the negative amount that we actually paid to reduce our total balance to $1,200. So we can press save and close right there. And I do want to mention really quick that you don't always have to just immediately input the bill. Some of my clients, for example, they create a new purchase order. They just go to create purchase order, and then they input their desired purchase from the correct vendor, obviously enter in all this information. Purchase order date as well. It's probably going to be different than the bill date since you're sending this ahead of time. And then you would just send the same exact products or services that you're planning on buying. So fountain pipe, 200 at $10 a pop, giving us that $2,000 balance that we had on the bill. And the cool thing here is that once you save it, all you have to do is press copy to bill, and it'll automatically convert this purchase order into a bill. So you don't have to manually remake that as well. So this is, if you are using purchase orders, you can use this as well. Or if you're not, then you could just obviously enter the bill like how we did before. For this case, we already have that bill entered. So I'm going to cancel out of this transaction so we don't have two of the same bills in there. So now if we head on over to our reports and click on the balance sheet, you're going to see what happens here. So we originally made that $800 payment, and that was showing up as a vendor deposit on our balance sheet for $800. But I can refresh this just to make sure it's up to date. But after we input that negative $800 value on the bill, we're going to see that our vendor deposit is completely zeroed out on our balance sheet, which is correct since we applied that $800 to the bill. So this is the correct balance that we should be seeing inside of QuickBooks Online. And now once we actually go back to the bank feeds, we're going to see this transaction right here for $1,200 because we had that original $2,000 bill and we had that $800 vendor deposit that reduced our balance on the bill to $1,200. And this is the exact payment that we want to match to that bill. And this will zero out our liability to that vendor as well. So I'll show you that once we actually apply this payment to the bill. But all we have to do is click on it. It's already categorized as a match in QuickBooks Online. They found this payment, matched it to the open bill that we have. So all we have to do right here, obviously, if there are multiple bills, then you would select the correct bill that you actually paid off. But in this case, we only have that one outstanding bill. So all we have to do is press match on the bottom right. And now I want to take a look at the vendor information to make sure that the balance we have in QuickBooks Online for how much we actually owe A1 Rental is correct. So if we click on A1 Rental right there, we're going to see that the open balance for them is zero, which is exactly what we wanted because we had that $800 vendor prepayment plus that $1,200 payment that we just matched to the $2,000 bill $800 plus $1,200 obviously equals $2,000, which cancels out that $2,000 bill that we entered in here. And you might be wondering, we had a $2,000 bill. Why does it only show up as $1,200? And the reason for that is because if we actually click on this bill, we're going to see that, like I showed you previously, that balance was reduced by this negative $800 vendor prepayment that we inputted previously. So that's why instead of 2,000, the total shows up as 1,200 as well. Just if you're wondering about that. So that was a quick demo. Hope that actually helped you out and showed you exactly how to deal with vendor prepayments or deposits inside of QuickBooks Online.
So I hope that was pretty helpful, but let me tell you about 2 more mistakes that I see e-commerce owners make all the time when it comes to this sort of thing. So number 1 is not having any memos on those deposits or any bills as well. Anytime you see a deposit come through in the bank feeds or you're entering it into an inventory bill, you should make a quick note or description talking about when you actually made that payment and what invoice or PO it applies to as well. This is especially messy when I have to clean up a set of books where the owner, they have been keeping QuickBooks Online up to date for a year, 2 years, sometimes even longer. And I basically have to try to piece together these random deposits to the correct invoice or bill that they paid off. It's a complete mess, and making all these notes ahead of time actually helps you keep everything in line and avoid that mess in the future. So basically, just make a quick note, 1 or 2 sentences describing what the prepayment was for which invoice, and then when you made that prepayment as well, just to help you keep track of everything. And then number 2, I know we talked about not coding these inventory deposits to an expense account, but I've also seen e-commerce owners code it directly to an inventory account as well. So that is obviously going to overstate your inventory because QuickBooks is going to see that deposit as a separate inventory purchase and then that bill as a whole other inventory purchase as well. So if you have a $1,000 deposit that's supposed to be applied to a $5,000 bill and you code that $1,000 deposit to inventory, your total inventory amount is going to be $6,000. 1,000 plus 5,000 instead of that 5,000 that it should be based on the bill. And then obviously if you code that to an inventory account, you won't be able to apply that vendor deposit to the correct bill. So you're always going to have an outstanding balance on that bill, even though you're sure you paid it off. So getting all of this cleaned up and doing this properly, make sure that the total amount of cash that you actually spent in real life ties out to what you have inside of QuickBooks Online. You can actually see the correct outstanding balance for every single supplier that you have for your business as well. And then by making detailed notes for any vendor deposits or prepayments, and then applying those notes to your bills as well, you're going to make sure that you're not overpaying your vendors for your inventory. So just to summarize, anytime you make a vendor deposit, make sure you treat it as an asset, not an expense. Once you actually enter that bill into QuickBooks Online, apply that vendor deposit as a negative amount to reduce the balance that you owe the vendor. And then finally, in the bank feeds, match any bill payment that you make to the correct bill inside of QuickBooks Online to zero out your balance for that respective vendor. So if you think you've been messing up your bills or honestly anything else inside of QuickBooks Online, click on the first link in my description or in the pinned comment as well. I'm currently running a free QuickBooks Online profit leak audit for e-commerce owners where you and I, we sit down one-on-one and break down your QuickBooks Online file and catch any issues before they become even bigger in the future. So whether it's inventory, prepayment, sales tax, dealing with tariffs, or any other issues that you might be having in QuickBooks Online, I can help you figure that out completely on the house. Just sign up by clicking on the link and stay tuned for more QuickBooks Online tips and tricks coming out soon.